Introductions. Mobile payment considered as a communication channel for customer and merchants, which the customer make the financial transactions for cross-selling activities via wireless communications technologies and mobile networks to the merchants. Example mobile payment in Malaysia such as Boost, GrabPay, Maybank Pay, and Touch and Go e-wallets. Malaysian government predict that Malaysia will be transformed into cashless payment society in the future. Therefore, several campaigns and promotions are held by the governments to encourage more people to use it. Recent years, many educational institutions such as secondary school, universities, and colleges start to use the mobile payments to carry on the financial transactions. Problem statements. Currently, many education institutions implement a mobile payment service in their school campus. UUM has been working with the Keeper Pay subsidiary Berhad to launch their mobile payments Keeper Pay, and UUM was the first cashless campus. However, the promotions made by the governments, mobile payments companies, and university authorities do not give a positive impact toward the students, and the usage rate of the mobile payments by students is still low. In this research, it is important to identify the factors that affecting the SQS students' behavior intention to use the mobile payment service and its relationships. This can directly determine the satisfaction levels of using mobile payment among the SQS students. Research questions. In this study, it contains 3 research questions. First, what are the factors that affecting the SQS student behavior intentions to use the mobile payment service? Second, what are the relationships between the factor variables and behavior intentions of SQS students to use the mobile payment service? Third, what are the satisfaction level among the SQS students toward mobile payment service? Research objective. There also contain 3 objectives in these studies. First, to determine the factors that affecting the SQS students' behavior intentions to use the mobile payment service. Second, to identify the relationships between the factors, variables, and behavior intentions of SQS students to use the mobile payment service. Third, to analyze the satisfaction level among the SQS students toward the mobile payment service. Scope of studies. This research mainly focused on the final year's undergraduate SQS students. This study will be conducting survey through web-based questionnaires, which is Google Forms. The questionnaires has been prepared and randomly distributed to the target respondents.
For the literature reviews, a set of literature review had been done in order to study the previous research for the information of the application of mobile payment system and the method used for this study. Based on the related study, there are few important factors that will affect the user's intention to use the mobile payment service, which are perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, transaction security, innovation trends, convenience, mobilities, and flexibilities. Also, a literature review for method had been done for Pearson correlation coefficients, hypothesis testing, analysis of variance, ANOVA test, chi-square statistics test, and mean score.
Research design. Research design is a quantitative research where it utilizes the mathematics-based approaches to analyze the collected data. In this research, quantitative research allowed researchers to discover the factors as its relationship between the factor variables and SQS student behavior intentions to the mobile payment service. Instrument of research. The number target responded is 147, and the questionnaire was designed in the 4 sections. Section A is a demographic of respondent. The structure of the questions in this section is multiple choice questions. Section B is a factor affecting the SQS student behavior intentions of using mobile payment service. The factors such as perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, social influence, and the perceived securities. The structure of the questions is 5 Likert scale. Section C is the satisfaction level of SQS student toward mobile payment service, and the structure of the questions is 5 Likert scales. Section D is the behavior intention of SQS student towards mobile payment service, which is the dependent variables, and the structure of the questions is 5 Likert scale. Sampling techniques. Simple random sampling techniques used in this research, where the sample data are randomly chosen from the entire populations. Entire populations in this study is the undergraduate final year SQS students. The sample which the selected student as a respondent, where the student from the final years have the equal chance to be selected as a respondent in this research. Hypothesis testing. There are 4 hypothesis testing in these studies. All the factors, perceived of usefulness, perceived of ease of use, social influence, and the perceived security show the positive relationship towards to the SQS student behavior intentions to use the mobile payment service. Data analysis. Data analysis is a process of interpret and evaluate the data. The SPSS tool will be used in these studies. There are 2 types of the data analysis. First, descriptive statistic analysis and inferential statistic analysis. Descriptive statistic analysis used to interpret the result data in the form of frequency distributions from the demographic of respondents. Inferential statistic analysis such as Pearson correlation analysis, multiple linear regressions, ANOVAs, p-value, and mean score.
The results are analyzed by using SPSS. For the demographic respondent, majority of the respondent is female, which is 68.7%, while the rest is male. Among the respondents, almost all the respondents are using mobile payment service in UUM, while only less than 3% do not use the mobile payment service. Most respondents, which is 77 respondents, use mobile payment service for less than 5 times a month, followed by 50 respondents use it at least once a week, and only 13 respondents rarely use the mobile payment. Most of the respondents, which is 67 respondents, use it for online banking, followed by 50 of them use it for e-commerce, while only 30 use it for paying bills. Next, for the reliability test, the Converge Alpha test is used to determine the reliability and the trustworthiness of the test. From the table, it clearly shows that all the variables are fall from the range between 0.734 and 0.861, and they exceed the minimum acceptable reliability value, which is 0.7. The higher the Converge Alpha value, the more strengthened the reliability. For the Pearson correlations, the correlation coefficient value for all the variables in this study is fall within the range of -0.022 to 0.945. This shows that this study consists of positive and negative relationships among variables and behavioral intentions. Next, I am going to discuss about the multiple linear regressions. From model summary, the coefficient of the determination is 0.914 or 91.4%. It indicates that the 91.4% of variability of the behavioral intention of SQS students can be explained by the listed factors. The unstandardized coefficient beta value of the factors indicates how many change in unit when certain units change by 1 while others remain constants. For the ANOVA test, since the p-value equal to 0, smaller than the alpha value, which is 0.05, thus we can conclude that we reject the H0. There is enough evidence to show that there is a significant relationship of all the factors and the behavioral intentions of SQS students toward the mobile payment service respectively. For the hypothesis testing, since the majority of the p-value less than the alpha value, which is 0.05, thus we can conclude that we reject the H0s. There is enough evidence to show that there is a positive relationship between the perceived of usefulness, social influence, perceived security, and SQS students' behavioral intention to use the mobile payment service except for the perceived ease of use. We also used mean score in this study. In this study, S2 recorded the highest value of the mean score with the value 4.46, whereas S5 recorded the lowest value of the mean score with the value 4.27. Thus, it indicates that the majority of the respondents satisfied with the advantages of discount cashback offered by the mobile payment, whereas rest respondents are satisfied with the speed of transaction of the mobile payment service.
Conclusions. In conclusions, perceived usefulness, social influence, and the perceived securities are the important factors that affect the SQS student behavior intentions to use the mobile payment service. However, perceived ease of use is not the factor that affecting the behavior intentions of SQS students to use the mobile payment service, where the findings of the result shows that the perceived ease of use have negligible relationship with the behavior intentions of SQS students. Apart from that, it can be concluded that satisfaction level of SQS students toward mobile payment service considered as high as all of them are achieved the mean score 4 and above. The finding of the result also shows that SQS students are satisfied with the service of discount or cashback which provided by mobile payment service where it achieved the highest mean score. In a nutshell, it can be concluded that 3 research objectives have been achieved.
For the future study, it can be concluded that this study provides a clear vision and understanding for the future researcher towards the knowledge of factors that affecting the SQS student behavior intention to use the mobile payment service, the relationship between them, and the satisfaction level of the student towards the mobile payment service. In future, the researcher further the study by investigating other use types such as office worker or elder people. By studying different user groups, the researcher will be able to find out the important factors that affect all types of the user and their behavioral intention to use the mobile payment service. Thank you.